Good evening, LG. This is Mystic Mac IRE, and it is the road to the playoffs. It is something to be excited about. I know I'm excited, and this show is really a loaded show. Really, we have Gods to Ascend, hopefully from Kingston, coming on the show. We have Madden's 26 coming on the show. So there's uh, a lot of people coming on the show to talk to me about the playoffs, their team, and anything else that is relevant to them. We also have Madden's 26 from the Hamilton Bulldogs to talk about Hamilton, the letdown that they had last week that almost led to them getting out of the playoffs. So it should be a good week. As it stands right now, um, we have Ottawa 67s facing off against the Kitchener Rangers. We have the London Knights facing off against the Kingston Frontenacs. We have the North Bay Battalion facing off against the Hamilton Bulldogs. And then we have the Sarnia Sting facing off against the Oshawa Generals. My first guest on the show is Mattis 26. So to give you a little back brief on this, the Hamilton Bulldogs are the sixth seed, and they are facing the North Bay Battalion in the first round of the playoffs. They lost to North Bay on Wednesday, 2-11, in a blowout. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I know I'm going to watch it. Hopefully, I'll play in it. So it's going to be a really, really good series. But without further ado, let me get Madden's 26 in the call. I'm going to invite him real quick. He's going to be my first guest. In the meantime, while he's doing that, the playoff roster as it stands right now for the Hamilton Bulldogs, they got Greens 9 MN from the St. Louis Blues back for the playoffs. They also have High Voltage 34, Chocolate Milk, Mystic Mac, Wolfric, Giuseppe, Perp Kush, Two Way Hockey, Kitty King 69, Squall, HJHF, Assault Sniper, Madden's 26, of course, Dad's Devil, and Firm Handshake, NHL 134, and EPVK. It actually will not let Madden's answer the call, weirdly enough. You know, I know I've been doing and if you haven't already, I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. We have the playoff bracket madness going on. The deadline, I moved that up a week, and the hold on, give me a second. Yo, what up? I wonder, do you have the stream open, Madden's? Yeah. Because I wonder, because you're not in the call for the broadcast, so I was wondering if you're in here. Yeah. All right, I'll try to call you. Give me a second. And if you haven't already, that playoff bracket is up in the forum, so make sure you sign up for that. But I know right now, as it stands, nobody has voted for the Hamilton Bulldogs to make it out of the first round. Every bracket that I've gotten so far has here's Madden's. It's working now.
There we go.
So it's good to have you on the show. This is actually my first time having you on the show, which is funny because I get accused of being biased towards Hamilton, but you've never been on the show, so
That's
welcome.
true. Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So since I've never had you on the show, can you tell the people watching a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. Guy loves to play hockey, man. I was in the army, went to Iraq for 2 years, and now I just sit at home with my kids and stuff, and that's about it. Real exciting.
And play goalie?
Yeah, and play goalie sometimes.
Um, so of course, if people don't know, this is the owner of the Hamilton Bulldogs. Can you give the viewers a little insight on what? Because I get this question all the time as a member of the Hamilton Bulldogs, but as an owner, you know a little bit more. Um, can you give a little insight on what happened to the Hamilton Bulldogs last week?
Uh, a little insider treat. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, a little inside treat.
Well, to be honest, man, I was kind of in trouble with my girlfriend a little bit, so I kind of let Assault, my GM, take the reins a little bit. I mean, I was still there and showed up for my games, but other than that, I didn't really come on and get everything going like I usually did for the first couple weeks. But
Hmm.
it's a long season, and my girlfriend, she was getting pretty upset with me, so I figured I'd better relax a little bit. But I'm definitely dedicated for the playoffs here, so they better be ready, whoever we're playing.
Um, I know one problem that the Hamilton Bulldogs have had all season long, from my vantage point, has been the backup goalie. And that is one reason why I gave you the goaltender of the year. I know I got some flack from Mikey D for that, but the reason why I gave you the goaltender of the year is because of the impact that you've had on Hamilton. I think without you, I don't think we would be in sixth because of the problems at backup goalie. Going into the playoffs, does Hamilton Bulldogs have that worked out on who will be the backup goalie to play the games that you are not able to play?
How did I know you're going to ask me about backup goalie, man?
Because I probably always talk about it in the party chat.
Yeah, well, throughout the season, we had a few different goalies hold it down for us in the backup when I went there. We had Travis Ewald. He did good for a little while, but then he kind of went cold, so I figured I'd try someone else. And it's been kind of a mixed match. But for the playoffs coming up, I believe we do have the riddle solved. Plus, we're also getting some excellent defenders back down from one of our guys was sent to the NHL. He's back on the squad. Another guy was on the AHL. He's back. So a lot of our defensive pieces we had when we were winning a lot of games will be back. So I don't really want to blame the backup goalies, but I think it was just a team effort and a lot of our losses. We strung together a lot of wins, so I think the team we were just riding high. I thought we could run over everyone, but I felt like the other teams did a good job really pulling their rosters together, and I think they were sending a little bit of their better lineups at us. I don't think we were getting the weaker guys anymore after midway through the season.
Yeah, I don't think so either, actually. So you said the riddle was solved. What's the riddle? Who's going to be the backup goalie for the Hamilton Bulldogs going into the playoffs?
Yeah, man, I guess you'll have to stay tuned in to find out, bro. I don't want to give away my strategy now.
Okay, okay. Fair enough. Fair
They're
enough.
gonna have to, they're gonna have to watch all the games to prep for us for our backup goalie.
Yeah, I know, right? Um, so one thing that I said before you came on the show was, you know how I'm doing the bracket madness. And every I'm not gonna give out too much of the cards because of what it is, but I will say this. Everybody who has turned in a bracket this far has Hamilton Bulldogs losing to North Bay Battalion in the first round.
Man,
What?
sorry, go ahead. Were you said more to put on that? But
No, go ahead. You could go. I
I,
was
you know,
gonna.
I've read a few of those things on the things, and I was just having a debate with Prince in the owners only chat earlier. I'm not gonna go over what we discussed, but we were definitely putting our points in. I just don't understand. I can understand people. North Bay Battalion's riding high right now. They coming in on a winning streak, but they're forgetting that the Bulldogs put together winning weeks for what, all the way up until week 7. Like, I mean, you can't just discount that. I understand, when people are winning games right before the playoffs, it makes a team. look extra better. And then, of course, us losing doesn't make us look any better. So I can see why people are leaning that way. But I think all the predictions I see with the 4 or 5 for North Bay, I think they're severely underestimating our team, which is fine. I like to be an underdog anyway.
What do you think gives Hamilton the nod over North Bay in a 7-game series?
Well, because earlier in the season when we were playing them, the game was close and they barely won, or we beat them. And then the last 2 weeks they put up against our better lines in there. And uh, me personally, I didn't schedule them some of our best lineups until that last week because I knew we needed a win, you know. But even
Mm-hmm.
though they blew us out of the water, it didn't really matter. But I'm not really certain how deep their team is. You know, like I was just going over the rosters earlier, and I've seen a lot of cold players on that active roster right there. Not saying that judges a player's whole season, but
Mm-hmm.
I know. I think we match up well with them. I told Prince earlier that I think it's going to be. I think our teams are both pretty even. We both have good strengths, and we both have apparent weaknesses. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I personally think it's either a 6 or 7 game series because I just don't think one team has that clear decisive edge. I feel we're better on defense. I feel they do a better good job of putting the puck in the net. I mean, it's the classic situation, offense or defense, who's going to win, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting take on that. So, Madness 26, as you're sitting in here now, what do you think the prediction on that series is going to be?
Oh man, my prediction is us in 6. I think
Right.
they're going to get 2 from us, man. I'll tell you what, I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna have to put me a bracket in that at least has us making it through the first round.
I know because nobody has right now.
I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't.
Nobody has voted for Hamilton to make it out. So
Right.
if let's say we beat the God damn it, the North Bay Battalion in the first round, what team do like going over the season? What team do you want to knock out that you want to get dispersed of that you wish that you get in the second round?
The second round. Well, I mean, I didn't really look at the brackets that closely because I just look at the website, so I didn't see how it would go if who won. But I've been wanting to play Ottawa in the finals all season. I already thought I predicted that since like week 2. I mean, you can ask the guys on the team. I've predicted Hamilton and Ottawa going hard in the playoffs. I don't see it any other way. If we don't get to play them, I'd be severely disappointed.
Well, I will say this. I know a thing or two about the brackets. So if Ottawa beats Kitchener and London beats Kingston and Hamilton beats North Bay, Hamilton will play Ottawa in the second round.
Ooh.
That's how the cookie will crumble. If that happens, that's
So,
who Hamilton
can
would
you
have.
even look at the series of us versus Ottawa? Because I've been wondering all day who got the better of that during the regular season.
I know that we've won the last two. Let me.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
won
pull this
earlier,
up.
so I think was like three out of 5 or something.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Just looking real quick here. They beat us in week two. Um, we we didn't play them in week three. Yeah, this is so. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
All
it's
I
too
know is
hard to
we fucking
tell.
beat them last
It's
two
too
times.
hard to tell. I know, but I think the series went 3-5 if I remember correctly. I don't know. I played in a bunch of games, so I can't remember them all. But that's definitely who I've been predicting. I guess you could say.
No, I will say the series has been 3-5. However, it is 2-0 Hamilton since the trade deadline and when Ottawa made their trade. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully that trade works out, at least against their team if we play them again.
Yeah, I know. So getting off the playoffs for a second here. What's the plans for Madden's next season? What is Madden's going to do next season?
I believe Madden's. I'm gonna take. I'm not gonna be doing ownership no more. I think I'm just gonna go do my regular thing as a player. I'm probably gonna be a lot busier in my personal life in the future to handle. Uh, I mean, it's a lot of extra time spent on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anyone looking at becoming an owner, be prepared to put in a little extra time, a little extra thought process than just playing NHL. You know,
Mm,
I stepped up because I saw a need. I tried to do my best. My goal was to get to the playoffs. We accomplished that. Now, see if we could wreak some havoc. You know.
yep, exactly. So I think that's it for that I could think of. Do you have anything else to add? Any message to send to North Bay?
Oh, do I have a message to send North Bay? They better watch out because 26 is going to be between the pipes. Because during the season, they only played me once or twice, but they're going to see a lot of me coming up here soon. So, and
Very
that's for
nice.
the Bulldogs too.
Very nice. All right. Well, it was great having you on the show, Madden.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's fun.
Yep. Yep. So that was Madden's 26 from the Hamilton Bulldogs. I think he gave some pretty good, solid insight to Hamilton and what happened last week and the meltdown that would have been. Because I don't know how close that everybody was following it, but I did do the playoff scenarios on Wednesday prior to the Thursday's game. And when you look at it, Barry Colts won their game in week 8. So did the Kitchener Rangers. So if the Hamilton Bulldogs did lose to the Ottawa 67s on the last day of the playoffs, Hamilton Bulldogs would have missed the playoffs. So that was a huge, huge win um, for the Hamilton Bulldogs on the last day of the season. Um, as well as this guy's been begging me while I'm trying to get God's do ascend in here. Hopefully he answers. I haven't talked to him all day, so hopefully he answers. But you know, yesterday, or no, 2 days ago was Friday Night Puck, and it was mainly CHL guys. I know I was playing club with some AHL guys, and they were saying how they wish they would have joined because of how many CHL guys there was in it. However, that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, our very own Mr. Not So Awesome 07 or Waterway Dolphin 77, I believe he was the owner of that team, and and he had a solid team. You know, he had Chiz Nasty on it. That name stood out to me a lot, and I watched most of their games. I know I did watch the semis and the finals, and they played very well. So congratulations to uh, Waterway Dolphins 77 on that, as well as there is also a potential call out or call up for Waterway Dolphins. So maybe you will see him in Rockford's games as well, maybe on the third line or something. So stay tuned on that. Um, but hopefully, God's answers the call because honestly, like we have Hamilton, we have Ottawa, we have these teams out there right now. We got the Sarnia Sting, Oshawa Generals. But I would say, and I'm sure a lot of people around the league would agree with me, I believe the series of round one that you have to watch has to be the London Knights against the Kingston Frontenacs. That is a series to watch all year long. I mean, I don't know if y'all the people that are watching, I don't know if y'all been in the shout box um, or what, but man, there has been chirping back and forth all season long between the Kingston Frontenacs and the London Knights. They do not like each other, or maybe they do, but I know KMC, he does not like Braden. Braden does not like KMC. There is a lot of hatred between those two teams. In fact, I was in a game. I'm just going to go ahead and say it because he said he was going to do it. I don't know if you've ever got with Braden, but I was in a game with KMC, and he said that he would make a bet with Braden that if KMC and the Kingston Frontenacs beat the London Knights in the first round, Braden would have to stop playing LG. And on the flip of that, if London Knights beat Kingston, KMC said he would not play LG no more. That's how much hatred is between these teams that they're willing to do bet, and maybe that bet will never happen. But there's so much hatred between these two teams that it is talked about, and it is talked about in game rooms about the hatred between them. Uh, they don't like each other. I mean, it's going to be a great series. I know I watched a couple or read a couple power rankings, and someone said, "Oh, it's a no-brainer that London Knights will beat Kingston Frontenacs." Uh, I would like to disagree. Kingston has more depth than the London Knights. They got Crippet all day, back from the AHL. They got Rantalian 34 back from the AHL. I'm not sure what role he will play in the playoffs, but they do have him back. They got Dare to Be Fresh, Chrisix, Applauded Killer, Gods Do Ascend in net that will equalize the difference in net with Guardian and Brawler for the London Knights. They got KMC, Warpath. Up and down this roster, the Kingston Frontenacs are very deep. All right, and I think they're a very 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 tough matchup. Uh, uh, they're a very very tough matchup for the London Knights because when you look at the London Knights' roster, uh, they have It's Horty. That names that stick out to me. They have It's Horty. They have Tater. They have Guardian and Net. Brawler isn't bad either. Just came back down from the AHL. And Braden. That's it. And I know Mikey D. He talks really highly of Quantum Physics, which is a defenseman they just got back from the AHL. I've never seen him play, so I don't know, but I know he talks very highly of them. However, the question that will be answered in the playoffs, and it will be the difference maker on whether the London Knights or the Kingston Frontenacs move on in the playoffs, is the London Knights, without a shadow of a doubt, need 2 wins from their top line. They need, if their top line loses, London Knights lose the series, no question. But the question is, can the Kingston Frontenacs win a matchup against their second and third line, the London Knights second and third line? They have to win those games. I think the third line is easy to beat. When you look at London, and I say that out of love because I like Mikey D, but I don't have confidence in that third line. If I was Tater 316 right now, I'd be holding my breath every time the third line comes on. I mean, and I think it speaks volumes when the third line goes against the 14th, 15th, and 16th teams. It sends a message out there to the people that are watching. I know I look at it not as an availability issue. I look at it as I'm scared to put these guys against it, against top teams, and you can't do that in the playoffs. You can't run from it, and you can't run from it. So he's got to um, he's got to play against the Kingston Frontenacs, and they're very very deep. Now, another series that is interesting. I've had mixed. I know with my playoff bracket, I've had mixed reviews on it, and that's the Kitchener Rangers and the Ottawa Frontenacs, or the Ottawa Frontenacs. Holy cow, the Ottawa 67s. Because people are very intrigued, if you will. They're very intrigued about can Ottawa turn it around in the playoffs, or will they still dwindle down? Which will lead me to my next guest, C. Barbs, goaltender for the Kitchener Rangers. Hopefully, he'll join since Gods did not. Um, but you know, that I know that's a question I ask going into the playoffs. Is Ottawa 67s ready for the playoffs? They've been last 2 weeks. They haven't been playing too well, and I think in the last 2 weeks they are 8-10, if I'm not mistaken, since the trades that they've made, and I do not think they worked out. However, here is C Barbs from the Kitchener Rangers. How are you, C Barbs? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
All right, sweet. So this is C Barbs from the Kitchener Rangers. He is the PR guy for Mitchos, apparently. So, um, C Barbs, can you tell the viewers? I always do this. Just one of the things that I do. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Not no different than anybody else. Just got our group of guys that we play with and trying to make a run in the playoffs.
Very nice. So y'all got in on the last day. I think y'all were always in the playoffs. I think the whole season. I don't think y'all ever fell out of eighth, top eight. But if you did it, I think it was only ninth and a couple points. But y'all do have the wonderful pleasure of playing the Ottawa 67s in the first round of the playoffs. What do you think gives Kitchener a nod over Ottawa in a 7-game series, if there is any?
Well, our team, I mean, we won every big game that we needed to win this year. We had a couple weeks there that weren't too pretty, but we got our stuff together and bounced back the following week, and our guys went out and won the games that we really needed to win. I'm
Uh,
sure in the 7 game series, they're gonna be putting out their top lines. We're gonna be putting out our top lines, and it's probably really gonna come down to the matchups.
hmm uh, I know when I was submitting my first round playoff power rankings, I had Kitchener winning in 6 and changed my mind right before I submitted and had Ottawa 67s in 7. Y'all do get Kev back from IR this week. How big is that to the Kitchener Rangers to have Kev back for the playoffs?
Well, anybody that we get back is a huge asset to us. There, we lost a lot of guys throughout this season there, and one of them was management. So our guys came in, stepped up, and took on the management role there and did their best to fill those lines where we had to. So guys like Kev and Com Blue Ice, getting them back are huge for our team. They're a big part of the wins that we racked up. So them for the playoffs against Ottawa for sure.
I know when I was doing the power rankings and everything else, and I was looking at Kitchener Rangers lineup. I think someone who doesn't follow the Kitchener Rangers are aren't really in tuned on how deep exactly the Kitchener Rangers go. They got Kev, Hazy Eyes, Mitch Oz isn't a bad player. They got you and Net. They got Bad Intentions. That's not bad either. Poopin since '95 also has had a solid year. Y'all are pretty deep all over the lineup. What else is another thing if people do not follow the Kitchener Rangers? What's another thing that people should know about the Kitchener Rangers?
But these guys, they just find a way to win. They won every big game we needed to win, especially coming down the stretch there. We were up in fourth, and then we were down in eighth, and, from good week to bad week, and all that mattered was the wins that we needed to get. So, and we picked up a couple good players from our TC roster too. Um, a couple good players came up there with Top Cheese and on defense, and a couple guys there that we took a look at, and they seem to be playing all right. So it's going to be a tough series against Ottawa, but I'm confident that our guys they'll find a way to win.
What's the mood around Kitchener? I know earlier in the year probably there was a sense of like a feel about Ottawa that they were invincible. since they have really crumbled in the last 2 weeks, what's the mood around Kitchener? What's the mood of the guys in the locker room about how they feel going into the series?
Well, we wanted Ottawa. I mean, we ideally we would have liked to finish higher in the top 8 there, but we
Mm-hmm.
wanted Ottawa wherever they fell, and we know that we're gonna face a tougher Ottawa than we saw at the end of their season, because I think they've got about 4 or 5 players back. So in the same regards, we picked up Anthony. We got Anthony back again, who's key on our offense. Wolf on defense. He's a key player for us. So they're not going to see the same team that they saw early in the season either. So we're anxious to play. We're a little bit disappointed that the playoffs got bumped back to the 10th, because we were all set and ready to go. We've just been getting on and playing and practicing and waiting for the 10th to roll around. So we like being the underdogs. There's less pressure on us.
Yeah, I get that answer a lot from a lot of people. So since the playoffs did get pushed back to the 10th, what is Kitchener Rangers doing to practice for Ottawa? Are y'all doing any intra-squad games, or are y'all playing scrimmages, or what exactly is the Kitchener Rangers doing to get ready for their series that starts on the 10th against Ottawa?
We're probably doing the same things that all the other teams are doing. We go out there and we get our guys together, and sometimes we play our positions. Sometimes we just go out and play around, just to stay loose. We know that once the 10th rolls around, whatever, everybody's going to be ready, and everybody wants to end their series as quick as possible. So we're ready for a 7-game series if it goes that far against Ottawa. But I think they'll be surprised with the lineups they're going to see from us.
Good. That's interesting. So it's been very good talking to you, C Barbs. And good luck in your series against Ottawa.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So that was a C Barbs from the Kitchener Rangers. He seems very confident against Ottawa 67s, and I know one thing. One thing that I feel like I feel like I've been getting from a lot of teams is yeah, we wanted the Ottawa 67s, and I felt, I guess, it was going to be a little bit of the opposite, if you will. I thought maybe people would have been like, oh man, we got to hurry up and get up in these standings so we don't have to play Ottawa. But it has so far, for everybody that I have talked to, um, uh, it seems like they've been wanting Ottawa 67s. And he said something that was very interesting to me, because I don't think I really knew this. I guess I sort of expected it. Uh, um, I guess I kind of expected it. But he did say that Ottawa got players back. So I think that's a very interesting news for people to look at when they're evaluating the Ottawa 67s. That they did get players back, and and that was another thing I meant to ask Maddens, but I forgot. But another thing that C Barb said is, they were disappointed that the playoffs got moved back to the 10th. I know I was pretty ready for the playoffs as well. But I guess it was kind of nice to get this week just to chill and relax, and even though I'm still pretty hot and heavy with the playoffs, or not the playoffs, but power rankings, the award ceremony thread, and the All-Star game. Which speaking of the All-Star game, there's going to be 2 threads posted in about 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's going to be 2 threads of 8 people that are going to be potential captains in the All-Star game. The poll will be open for 24 hours. It's going to close the following day, Monday at 9 Eastern time. So make sure you vote in that, followed by, I believe it's going to be on Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to have a live draft for the All-Star game. on my show. We're going to have all the captains come on the show, and we're going to have a live draft. So make sure you tune into that as well. Um, another series, I've been beating up on this team, and it's weird because I really do like Fire Mike. I like Rambo. I like all them guys. They're really cool. But it's another series that I got to talk about, and it's the only series I have not talked about so far on the show, is the Sarnia Sting versus the Oshawa Generals, the 4 seed versus the 5 seed. When I wrote my power rankings, in fact, I actually had the Sarnia Sting winning the series in 4 games. I had it as the only. Uh, I it's the only series that I had a sweep uh, pending. So it's going to be interesting to see if Sarnia pulls that out. If they make me look smart. I think the Generals will have to show some sort of continuity at the goalie position. Um, Goalie has been a question mark for them, and I've said it time and time and again, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But that remains a question where their goalie is an issue. Where on Sarnia Sting's team, they have one of the best goalies in the league in Sick in the Head 17. If you're not familiar with Sick in the Head 17, he is 16-2 on the year. He's got an 87.1 save percentage and a 1.9 goals against average. That is absolutely when the site says elite. That is an absolute elite season. It does not get any better than that. The only thing that he gets flack for is he hasn't played as much games as other goalies in the league. But he is an amazing player, as well as Sarnia's got some scoring too to go with their goalie. They got the Killer J, who was a mid, or actually not even mid season. He was a late season call up, but since being called up, he's 9-1. Played in 10 games for the Sarnia Sting. He's got 29 points in 10 games, 18 goals, 11 assists, a plus minus of plus 24. He's playing absolutely phenomenal, and it's great because Gally actually told me about him, about the Killer J, um, before he even got caught up. So I think it even makes Gally look smart in a way because he said keep a lookout for the Killer J. And he has proved him right because he has played phenomenal, as well as they got Godmer, left wing, and he's 17-5-1 this year, 37 points, 4 goals, 33 assists, and a plus minus of plus 30. So he feeds his lines assists all the time. And then you have Gally as well, the GM for the Sarnia Sting. He's 13-8-3. However, since the Sarnia Sting has turned their season around, he has been on a tear, 8-1 since all those trades went down, and he's got 47 points on the season, 30 goals and 17 assists. I guess the only knock on Gally would be is can he stay out of the penalty box in the playoffs? Because the Sarnia Sting will need him on the ice in a 7-game series. This is an interesting series. Uh, but I do have the Sting sweeping the Generals. So that is, if you got time, I would prefer you watch the Kingston versus London series because I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting. But that's all the series in our playoffs to start on July 10th. As well as I'm going to steal an idea from T-Sibs, Moranaconda, and V High. What I got cooking up, not cooking up because they cooked it for me. I'm just going to eat it. Is I'm next week. I encourage all the playoff teams to have streams going. In the games that I don't play, who knows? I might even get put on DC. Who knows? So I might have time to do this all the time. But in the games I don't play, I have a plan of I'm going to have talk shows throughout the week, and we're going to cut into the game live and commentate the game, talk about the game, talk about what's going on, the score, and everything else. We're going to cut into, and then we're going to drop from the Ottawa game, and then we're going to go over to the Hamilton game, check out the Hamilton game, commentate that game, and everything else. So we're going to do that throughout the playoffs. And then if Hamilton gets knocked out, I'll probably go on to just commentate games because that is fun to me. I tried it, and I think it's going to be even better when I do it again. But so I'm going to commentate games. But so stay tuned to that in the playoffs as well. Moving on to my award ceremony. If you haven't had a chance to read that thread, Mystic Matt's award ceremony, the player of the year I had going to Prince of Zeus. If you look at the kind of impact he's had on North Bay, it would make sense. Rantalion, he's a troll, but I know he did say, I Pass You Score was the MVP. The reason why I Pass You Score has been an amazing player, and he's a great guy. If you've never met him, but Prince of Zeus actually has a team in the playoffs. He's led his team to the playoffs through his point production, and he deserves to be there. Another pick that I had that got some kind of flack for it. I know Guardian responded, "Oh, we're smacking the playoffs." I gave the goaltender of the year to Madden's 26. The reason why I gave the goaltender of the year to Madden's 26, a little backdrop to that is if you and I mentioned it with when I was talking to him, Hamilton has had a problem at backup goalie all season long. It's not a new thing. They've had a problem with their goaltender all season. But Madden's has been that consistent force for the Hamilton Bulldogs in the playoffs, which bids or in the playoffs in the season, which bids the question: if it wasn't for Madden's 26 in net, would the Hamilton Bulldogs even be in the playoffs right now? So I think, and he had a very solid year, by the way. So it's like, so that's why I gave, Guardians has had an amazing year, but the reason why I didn't give it to Matt or Guardian is because if you look at Guardian, the London Knights have had a carousel of fucking goalies. They've had that I can't think of that guy's name, but at first it was Brawler and this guy, and they were both solid. And then it was Brawler and Guardian, and then Brawler got caught up, and then it was Guardian and Freddie, and then Brawler comes back from the AHL, and it's Brawler. They've had a carousel of goalies, solid goaltenders, where if Guardian fell off the map, he just fell off the map. I don't think the London Knights would miss him at all, honestly. They would be okay. Where I think if Madden's fell off the map, the Hamilton Bulldogs would really have to think about what the fuck they're going to do because it is tough. Because of just the impact he made. The Max Kaminsky Trophy, the CHL Defenseman of the Year, I had going to Tiley. The Eddie Powers Memorial Trophy for the top point getter in the CHL. It was a tie at the top, but I gave it to Hazy Eyes because his team is in the playoffs. The Matt Leadin Trophy, which is the Coach of the Year, I gave to Itz Galley and Stamkos for their work mid-season and trades and moves to get their team in position to be in the playoffs, and not only be in the playoffs, but be a force in the playoffs. And then my CHL Sportsman of the Year went to Cal Hockey 10 for the work that he has done with the Windsor Spitfires. He's been great for that team. They haven't been good all year. I'm reading the thing. Every night there should be a thread that links to the stream for each game. All I want is for each team to have a Twitch link to the game, so I can just click it real quick, share my screen, boom, we're cutting to the game. So please, owners out there, I'm begging you, get these streams up on the site. so we can watch the playoffs, because I want to watch them. I want to commentate them. I want to cut into them, and I'm sure people around the league um, want to uh, want to watch it, and be in tune with the playoffs. I know there's a lot of people that are still active within the community that aren't in the playoffs, so um, it's gonna be a great season. Just to respond to Gallia again, for everyone to be able to access streams too. Yeah, it's easy because they're just gonna have the games on the top with the red little video camera. I've been doing it all season. You just hit the stream and then all the streams will pop up. So I don't know why there would need to be a thread. So just explain that in the chat box. We'll talk about it later. But so it's going to be a great playoff season. This show has been a little short, 47 minutes. But there hasn't been much to talk about, because it's a brand new season. So we don't even have to get into stats or anything. I don't care if you had a shit season. It's the playoffs now. It's a brand new season. So good luck on that. Keep a lookout for All-Star Game threads. I am leading the charge on the All-Star Game, me and my committee. So keep a lookout for that. 2 threads will be posted up in approximately 2 hours. Make sure you vote in that, as well as the timeline that's going to go for the All-Star Game tentatively. So everything will be posted in that, as well as on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a live draft for the All-Star Game. So tune into that as well. As well as this will I won't have a show next week. There will be nothing to talk about. So the next show will probably be in midweek of the playoffs, like I was talking about. So just, stay tuned with that. It's not going to be a week in advance. It's going to be, hey, I'm coming on. I'm going to do this, so you have heads. So good luck to the playoff teams. I'm looking forward to watching it. This is Lgchlpsn this week. Quotations, road to the playoffs. It has begun. This is Mystic Mac IRE signing off.